we're ready to go. So,
okay. Hello, everyone. Greetings from Singapore. Thank you for the kind introduction, Sandy. I'm honored and grateful to Baltimore Camera Club and PSA for giving me this opportunity to present my work today. As far as the phrase goes, fast learning, that was meant only for my husband to convince him. but when I'm actually in the journey, I feel that the road is long and I'm still standing in the starting point. But anyways, today my presentation is going to be on my travel experience in Varanasi, which is one of the world's ancient living cities and the oldest city of India. Some of you may already know that Varanasi is also known as Banaras or Kashi. Kashi is the ancient name. It is also one of the major religious hubs in India, and it dates back to the 11th century BC. Just to give you an idea, much of what is considered as modern Varanasi was actually built during the 18th century. So you can well imagine that even though it's a modern city, but everything is very ancient and it has been kept that way. And that makes the city unique. Having said that, let me share my screen with you.
good.
Okay. Hang on. Yeah, so the ancient city of Varanasi, it is truly a photographer's paradise. I visited Varanasi twice. My first visit was in 2016, and then again I, along with my husband and few other close relatives, had gone back there in 2019. It was by far one of the most intense travel experiences that I ever had. The images that you will be seeing are taken from both the visits, but they are mainly from the later one, the 2019 visit. This is the map of India, and the highlighted state is the state of Uttar Pradesh, where Varanasi lies. So you can see from the map that it's in the north central part of the country, and it's the fourth largest state in India. Population wise, it's the most populous state. If we zoom into the map further, we can see that Varanasi lies on the banks of the river Ganges, which originates in the Himalayas, and it flows to the Bay of Bengal. Ganges is considered as the holiest river in India. It's believed that anyone who touches its water gets purified and cleansed of all sins. Interestingly, it's also the birthplace of the world's oldest religion, that's Hinduism. This is the reason why it attracts many Hindu pilgrims and devotees, not only from India, but also from many across the world. Now let's start the journey. As usual, we started the day with the intention of capturing the sunrise. So we went to the ghats early in the morning to catch the sunrise. By the way, ghat means a flight of steps leading down to the river. As you must have noticed in the map shown earlier, just one slide earlier, that how the city is located on the west bank of the river, which means the city is facing east. And that makes it possible to get a clear view of the sunrise over the Ganges. And it looks incredibly beautiful. The morning light shimmering on the water of river Ganges creates a serene and magnificent view. Sometimes you can have the birds in the foreground, sometimes you can have the boats or just a few early risers. You can go wild with your imagination. I have taken this image from the topmost steps of one of the ghats, and there are 88 ghats in Varanasi. As I told you just now, ghat means the flight of steps leading to the river. All these ghats are placed one after the other, lining the edge of the whole river. Each of them are named differently. The names are given as per the activities that take place in that particular ghat, or probably by the presence of a famous temple located near that ghat. And then we decided to take a boat ride. It was still early in the morning. The small rowing boats or motor boats are easily available from certain places. They are very reasonable too. So you can either book the whole boat for yourself or you can share it with other people. What we had done, we had fixed a small motorboat and which took us around the river along the ghats. The ride was for an hour and a half or so. During certain months, a lot of migratory birds can be seen on the river. And I remember how a chaotic scene happened as the boat ahead of us was feeding these birds. All the birds rushed to that boat and created a mesmerizing view. And that is when I clicked this image. In fact, I have also taken a video of this, but with my mobile phone. And I think I have uploaded in my Facebook page. This ghat is named as Jain Ghat, probably because there is a Jain temple nearby. As the boat takes us around the river, along the ghats, I kept clicking. But I will share just a couple of those images, otherwise it will take a long time. Dashashwamedh Ghat happens to be one of the most important ghat in Varanasi. Our second visit to Varanasi in 2019 was in the month of November. And during this time, a very special festival takes place. It's known as Deepavali. Now, Deepavali means the festival of lights, and Dev means God. So Deepavali means the festival of lights of the gods. It's believed that on this day, the gods descend to earth to bathe in the holy river of Ganges, and Dashashwamedh Ghat happens to be the most important ghat in Varanasi. Being a special festival too, it attracts a much, much bigger crowd. Ganges in Hindi is called as Ganga, and this ghat is named as Ganga Ghat. I found the blue pillars to be very attractive. I also liked the artwork done on them, and the boat on the left, decorated with flowers and colorful flags, added to the beauty. The entire stretch of the river Ganges is decorated with marigold flowers, colorful flags, and decorative lights. Let me share the fact that during my second visit to Varanasi, I had gone with a very clear intention of capturing the human emotions of the pilgrims and holy men called sadhus. The next few slides are on the portraits of such sadhus, which I captured while they were performing prayers or meditating or were just engrossed in their morning rituals. These slides are with chanting hymns or mantras in the background, recited in Sanskrit. Sanskrit is the oldest language.
माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपीत्यजम्बो फलचारुभक्षणम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारकम् नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजम्। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदाम् लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। गङ्गातरङ्गरमणीयजटा कलापम् गौरी निरन्तर नारायण प्रियमनङ्गमदापहारम् वाराणसीपुरपतिं भज विश्वनाथम्। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। दीपदेव नमस्तुभ्यम् आरोग्यं सुखदायकम् शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपदेवो नमोस्तुते।
The next few slides are showing the images of people who are not sadhus, but they are just ordinary people. Like in this image, she's a fruit seller sitting on the narrow lane of a roadside. The blue pillar at the back, her wearing a red sari, and the morning light falling on her. I thought it was a perfect moment for me to photograph her. Though looking at her expression, I'm not sure if she was happy with me photographing her. In this slide, this lady had come with a group of women devotees, and they were all sitting and chatting by the river. Her smile was so infectious, and I knew somehow I have to capture this happy face. When I asked her if I could photograph her, she was very happy and cooperative. In fact, she started calling her friends or relatives to gather around her to be photographed. I did photograph them as well, but as she wanted me to do, but honestly, my interest was to capture her face with this happy smile. They seemed to be siblings, and they were selling cups made out of leaves containing flowers and teacup candles to the devotees. The candles are lit and floated out into the river by the devotees as they do their prayers. He is one such devotee. So young and old, they all do the same rituals. The pilgrims bathe in the river Ganges and also perform many rituals, as it's believed by many that bathing in the holy river of Ganges will make a person free from all the sins. And this devotee is doing pranayam, which is a part of yoga. Sun salutation is also a part of yoga. As the picture shows, the devotee is facing the sun and praying while offering holy water to the sun. Now, pranayam and sun salutation are not only part of yoga, but they have spiritual significances as well. And I believe they calm the mind and bring some kind of inner peace and tranquility. This lady must have just finished bathing, as her hair is still wrapped in the towel and she's holding a plastic container of turmeric powder. So what they do, they make face mask out of turmeric powder and sandalwood paste and apply on their faces before bathing. This is good for the skin. That's why you can see her face looks yellowish. After taking bath in the holy water, it seemed to me that she was preparing for her morning prayers. So this way, in every corner, some interesting things keep happening. You just have to be alert and quick enough to capture these moments. Here, a group of young ladies are braving the cold water early in the morning. What I liked here is the fact that they came here with the elders in the family to learn and follow the rituals that they believe in. Looking at this picture, you can imagine the crowd that gathered, and this was just early in the morning. I was really impressed to see how the local authority had managed that huge crowd of around few hundred thousand lining the Ganges. There were zero incidences, and the crowd was managed very well and very efficiently. The whole environment was nothing but charged with joy and spiritual positivity. Hair sacrifice is another ritual done by men as well as women. They perform the head shaving ceremony on the bank of the holy river. Some do it as a ritual to clean themselves before going to the river Ganges, and some do it as a part of the funeral in order to show respect to the departed soul by sacrificing their hair. There were two more ladies with her, but so three of them all had their heads shaven. They seemed to be sisters to me, and I waited for the right moment. When this lady moved a little bit away from the others, I didn't hesitate to click her. In fact, I was quite far away, but my travel lens of 28 to 300 came to be handy. Now we move on to the two famous cremation ghats, the Manikarnika Ghat and Harishchandra Ghat. These two ghats are exclusively used for cremation. They are well known not only to the Indians, but also to the tourists from all across the world. Many Hindus believe Varanasi to be the most sacred place to be cremated. With this belief, they bring the bodies of their loved ones with the hope that their departed souls will receive salvation, the eternal peace. They believe they will make them free from rebirth, that is, taking birth again. Hindus cremate their bodies, so you can see piles of woods are stacked for cremating the body. The next slide will show the ceremony is going on. The cremation ceremony is going on here. Animals like cows and dogs are a common sight here. They can be seen alongside the family members. People are allowed to observe the cremations. They are allowed to photograph the ceremony. But I believe that one has to be sensitive of taking such pictures of the grieving family members performing the last rite of their loved ones. Best thing to do is to use a long lens and take pictures from a distance, perhaps from the boat. This way you can respect their privacy. While doing all these, it became late in the afternoon, so we went back to our hotel, rested a little, and then went back to the ghats in the evening to experience the much awaited event, the Ganga Aarti. So it's evening time now, and the sun has already set. Towards the evening, the place looks completely different. The steps of all ghats on the riverfront of the Ganges is lit up with more than 1 million earthen lamps, some floating in the water and some placed on the steps. The earthen lamps look so much more beautiful than the usual electric lamps. On the night of the festival, thousands of devotees from the city of Varanasi, its surrounding villages, and actually across the whole country gather in the evening on the ghats of the Ganges to watch this Aarti. Aarti is a part of prayer when we use lamps or fire. So this Aarti happens every evening throughout the year. But during this festival of Deepavali, it happens with much more pomp and show. That's why this is the best time to visit Varanasi. We had decided to witness the Aarti from the riverside, so we had pre-booked a boat and got our boat parked on the banks of Dashashwamedh Ghat. Dashashwamedh Ghat being the main ghat, the main Aarti takes place over there. Although we had reached there quite early in the morning, quite early in the evening, that was evening time, and yet getting a place to watch the Aarti was a huge, huge challenge. So the way out is to plan in advance and to reach the venue at least an hour in advance. This is the view we could see from the riverside. The Aarti should not be missed by any chance. It's a wonderful event. The sounds of temple bells, conch shells, and gongs, the beautifully synchronized and rhythmic chanting of the holy mantras, the devotional songs, all these create an enchanting atmosphere. This lasts for an hour and a half or so and is performed by the young artists, the young priests. Just to give you a flavor, I'm playing some of the sounds in the background as we progress through a few slides that I captured. And these sounds are chanting, which were actually played on that day of my visit. Needless to mention that the chanting are all done in Sanskrit. Take a listen.
जय जय भगीरथ नंदिनी मुनि जय चकोर चंदी नर नाग विबुध बंदिनी जय जहलवालिका जय जय भगीरथ नंदिनी मुनि जय चकोर चंदी नर नाग विबुध बंदिनी जय जहलवालिका पद सरोज राशि शीश पर विभार विष्णुपद सरोज राशि शीश पर विभार त्रिपथ गासी पुण्य राशि पाप छालिका त्रिपथ गासी पुण्य राशि पाप छालिका जय जय भगीरथ नंदिनी मुनि जय चकोर चंद नर नाग विबुध बंदिनी जय जहन बालिका विमल विपुलव शिवारि शीतल त्रैतापहार विमल विपुलव शिवारि शीतल त्रैतापहार भावर वर विहंग तर तरंग मालिका भावर वर विहंग तर तरंग मालिका जय जय भगीरथ नंदिनी मुनि जय चकोर चंद हर नाग विबुध बंदिनी जय जहन मालिका पुरजनो पुजो पहाड़ शोभित शशि धवल धार पुरजनो पुजो पहाड़ शोभित शशि धवल धार भंजन भव भार भक्ति कल्प थालिका भंजन भव भार भक्ति कल्प थालिका जय जय भगीरथ नंदिनी मुनि जय चकोर चंद नर नाग विबुध बंदिनी जय जहन बालिका
It is such a spiritually elevating and soul-stirring experience indeed. Once you have gone through this beautiful moment, it will stay forever with you. After this, we took a boat ride along the river Ganges, along the beautifully lit ghats, which you can see I have provided on the screen, and ended our day. So here I end my image presentation. Now, let me suggest what equipment one needs to carry to photograph this place, but these are just my suggestions. I hope through this presentation, I have convinced you enough to understand that Varanasi is a fantastic place for portraits. So a good portrait lens, such as 35 mm or a 50 mm or 70 mm, may also be considered to make high quality portraiture, but of course, it's not essential. Apart from portrait, it's also a great place for street photography. The same lens can be used for great street photography, though my personal choice is to use a short zoom lens as 24-70, because I don't have to be very close to the subject, and also my equipment doesn't happen to be prominent to others on the street. It's a fast lens and has the ability to produce good quality images even in low light situation. For landscape photography, a good wide angle or ultra wide angle lens like 12-24 or 14-24 or anything from 10 mm onwards will be a good choice. But again, this is not essential. A medium zoom lens will also do the work well. For travel photography, my all-time favorite lens is Nikon 28-300. It's always there in my camera bag, no matter which destination I'm heading to. Sometimes you can see some unique street art or graffiti drawn on the walls of some old, dilapidated buildings, which can make your picture a lot more interesting. Sometimes you can come across some candid moments or abstract scenario. In any situation, this lens allows me to make the most of the opportunities. A polarizing filter will enhance the image, so it's good to have one, but again, it's not a must. Tripod. Of course, a tripod is useful for all kinds of photography, but in Varanasi, it's not essential. During the boat ride, most of the time, photography has to be done handheld. During the Aarti, the place becomes so crowded that it will be difficult to even place a tripod. During the Aarti, the most important thing is to find a good spot, a good location from where you can see the performance clearly. High ISO and high shutter speed is a must, as the performers are moving all the time and the light is less. So the only time that tripod would be used is during the sunrise photography when taken from the river banks. Otherwise, a super steady hand would be sufficient. A minimum level of fitness is essential while exploring Varanasi, as mostly we have to be on our feet, walking on the narrow streets and along the ghats by the river Ganges. All these have to be done by feet. At times, we have to climb up and down the steps in the ghats. So a good walking shoe is recommended. The next 2 points are important. It's advisable to carry some ready small denomination notes or some loose change in Indian currency. Because when you photograph those sadhus, many of them expect some small gratuity. So ranging, say, about from 25 cents to $1 converted into Indian currency should be fine. The last point would be the pre-booking of boats and accommodation. This is essential, especially if you are planning to go to Varanasi during the Deepavali festival. We had done our booking about 6 or 7 months in advance. For booking the boat, it normally costs about 350 US dollars. It keeps escalating nearing to the date of the event. And the same goes with booking the accommodation. So I think, in my opinion, I have covered all the essential things. In case you have any further questions, you can always ask me in the end, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, before I end, please allow me to extend my sincere thanks to Baltimore Camera Club for hosting this event, hosting this presentation, and also my thanks to the Photo Travel Division of Photographic Society of America. The PSA's Photo Travel Division has come up with a program during this pandemic time where interested presenters are matched with clubs. And I'm grateful to the Photo Travel Division of PSA to provide me the opportunity to do this presentation today. My special thanks to John Martin, the Associate Editor of Photo Travel Division newsletter. Without his help, today I wouldn't be here. You may already know that there are 6 divisions in PSA, namely Projected Image Division, Nature Division, Photojournalism Division, Travel Division, Pictorial Print Division, and 3D Division. More information about PSA can be found in the website as given. I'm happy to state that I am a member of PSA since 2015, and since then, I have realized the advantages of being a PSA member. Let me highlight a few of those. As a member, one can have the privilege to learn plenty online courses, and I think I have done most of them and found them to be very helpful, very enjoyable. A member can join a study group. At present, you can find me in Photo Travel Division Study Group 2. One can earn PSA distinctions. Every month, the members can read the beautiful and informative PSA journals. The members can advise on a location, may get advice on location from PSA travel aids. Actually, the list of the benefits of being a member of PSA can go on. To know more about the Photo Travel Division, you can always visit the division's Photo Travel website. In the end, I would say that Varanasi is a perfect place to draw inspiration from, and definitely it's a photographer's paradise. It's rightly quoted that there are many things in life which catch our eyes, but only a few will catch our heart. And whenever that happens, we must pursue them. The city of Varanasi is definitely one such place for me. That brings to the end of my presentation. I hope you have enjoyed it. Lastly, and not the least, my special thanks to Sandy for arranging this and helping me out, as this was my first presentation by Zoom. My sincere thanks to all of you for bearing with me, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, Malabika, thank you. Could you stop sharing your screen and
Yes, I'm doing that now.
Yeah. Thank you. Somebody's clapping. Yes.
Thank you.
And we're
1
going
minute.
to, yeah.
Did I stop?
There it is. You stopped it. Good. Very
Right.
good.
All right.
So Malabika, thank you so much. I found it just absolutely entertaining and informative about a part of the world I've never been. So it was educational, and we're getting a lot of thank yous in our chat. So now what we're going to do is open it up to questions. And I know, I think Lynn, you have a question. And I think Kenny started off with a question. So you can turn on your video and audio now. And Malabika, is that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
My camera doesn't seem to be working on this particular computer. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to be clear. When you were recommending specific lenses, was that based on a full frame camera or a crop sensor camera? I assume full frame, but it's always, I don't like assuming things. What body
Okay.
did you use?
I used Nikon 800E,
Okay, so
D800E.
full frame
And
sensor.
I also use a mirrorless camera, Z7. But what happened during this visit, I did not have Z7 by that time in 2019. But my camera of Nikon D800E was damaged. It had fallen down from my hand and I had damaged it. So all these photos I have taken with my husband's camera. He also has two, so I borrowed one from him, and that was Nikon D750.
Okay, so full frame
Full
sensors
frame.
when you were recommending lenses. So we should do the math if we have a crop sensor camera.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again?
Your recommendations for lenses were based on full frame sensors. So if we possess a crop sensor body, I have a D500, I need to do the appropriate math.
Okay, I don't have much knowledge about the crop sensor camera, but I think the travel lens that can cover from a short zoom lens will be good for this visit to Varanasi. I would say from 28 to 200, or I think in cropped lens you have one lens as 24 to 200, right?
I think I rented that one the first time I went to India, and I think the second time I went to India, I rented one that was designed for a full frame body that was, I can't remember the lower end, and it went up to 300. And I think I actually, with my crop sensor body, preferred the one that was designed for a crop sensor body. It was lighter and the range was more useful.
Yes.
But you know, it's recommendations.
The maximum
you do have to factor in the sensor size.
The maximum that you would need is 300, and the wider will be, say, about 24 would be great, actually.
Yeah. So 300.
Because when you are going inside those narrow lanes to take street photography, I think the small zoom lens are very handy.
Right. So 300 would be approximately 200 with a crop sensor body.
Yes. Yes.
Kenny?
Yeah, Malabika. First of all, I thank you for your work. You seem to have learned very quickly the photography, so you've done well. Just to answer Lynn's question, I do world missionary work also, and I do travel. My favorite street lens is a 28 to 250, and I use that on a crop sensor as well as a full frame. Lynn, I would just say that when you're shooting on a crop sensor, you just shoot wider, it'll crop itself down. It's not a problem.
Sure.
Mhm.
No, I recognize that. It's just I found the one that was the Nikon. I can't remember the bottom and up to 300. I couldn't get as wide as I wanted on a crop sensor.
Okay. Malabika, I just want to ask you a question. Just from a cultural standpoint, what was the significance of putting the ash on the body?
Oh, they just, there is no significance as such,
Mhm.
but I think they want to make them more attractive, because there are many sadhus and they try to dress, if you know anything about Indian, these mythological stories, there is someone called Shiva. So Shiva is always smeared in ashes.
Okay.
So I think he was trying to depict himself as Shiva.
Okay. Great. And I had two other questions that were related to street photography. I noticed you use the 20 to 300. Do you use that mostly when you're shooting on the street, because of the range, the close up, and being able to focus in at a long distance?
Okay, for the street, I usually use 24 to 70
Mm-hmm.
because that's lighter for me.
Mm-hmm.
And as I told you that it's light, it's not so obvious, it's not a very big lens, and
Mhm.
it's easier to carry around. But 28 to 300 is always in my camera bag.
Okay.
Because as you have noticed that I have, as Sandy has told you, that I do any kind of photography. So
Mhm.
sometimes I see something in the distance and then I quickly take out my 300 zoom.
Okay.
So that becomes handy. And sometimes also on the street, suppose something interesting is happening at a distance, and you don't want to be there in physically,
Right.
but you have a vantage point to capture that. So then the 300 zoom, I felt, is also where it comes to be handy.
And then my last question I want to ask you, how do people receive you taking photos there? I know in Haiti, some of the older cultures, they believe that if you take their photos, that you're capturing the soul, so they prevent you from taking their photos. What is the reception of people getting photos taken by you there?
Oh, they don't mind at all.
Okay.
They feel, yeah, they are very happy. But sometimes you have problem, as I mentioned, that you want to take someone's photo, but the others will come around and they will say, why not me? Take mine also.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for sharing. I really enjoyed your images, and keep
Thank
up the
you.
good work.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I have some, oh, go ahead.
No, I just was saying anybody else. Welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So Shiva is known as the destroyer, right? Part of the triumvirate, right? And yeah, so the Hindus believe that dying there and getting cremated along the banks of the Holy Ganges allows one to break the cycle of rebirth and attain salvation. I didn't know that. I think that you had said that, where that's so
Yeah.
so that sounds like a very, very holy place. Did you do you have a favorite time or a favorite picture or place or memory that you'd like to give us of your trip there?
The favorite time is during this festival of Deepavali, because I don't know how much justice I could do through these images, but to feel that atmosphere and the environment is so much different. And especially if you are a little bit religious minded or spiritual, then it will really captivate you. So the best,
Yeah, I'm just feeling like,
festival, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. This festival happens in the month of November, and some more to add to the beauty, it always happens on a full moon night. It has to be.
Huh.
So the whole atmosphere is so different. So you actually have to be there to feel it. So this is the best time to go.
I was sorry, I have a delay. So I was feeling that with your pictures, they're beautiful, but I feel like they were only capturing like 10% of the emotion of just
Yes.
actually being there. I felt it got amped up when you were playing the music.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, who else?
I guess
Are
I
there
think one
incense
thing-
or smells or things that add to the visual that are hard to capture?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Was it a question for me?
Yes. Is there incense or some of the smells that are hard to capture by photograph?
I didn't get that. Could you repeat? You're coming very broken to me.
Yeah.
Incense?
And you want to say, I know my phone didn't work.
Yeah, so she was just saying, are there any of the other senses that maybe aren't coming through in the photo, like the sense of smell, like incense or other things that you wanted to reflect upon that could add?
Spices.
You mean during the Aarti or in Varanasi in general?
In general,
General.
yeah.
Varanasi is famous for silk, actually. The silk and the carpets that are very famous of Varanasi. So the silk material, you get any kind of, the bed linens or the curtains or anything to wear, everything. The silk, the material is excellent, and the carpets are just beautiful. Regarding spices, Varanasi, I think the whole of India, you get a lot of good spices as such. But I would say Varanasi is actually famous for its silk and carpets.
I did have one other question.
Thank you very much.
I did have one other
Well,
question.
Wait a minute, Kenny, I'm sorry, Christina?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Am I okay? Thank you. Thank you so much for your presentation tonight. I really loved it. I have a question about the color orange. What is the significance of the color orange? Is it specific to this city that you shared with us, or is this throughout India?
Well, it's not throughout India, but the color orange, I think, because we offer the specific flowers when we do our prayers. This marigold flower is one of a kind that we offer when we do our prayers. And because that is orange, so I believe that that's the reason that why we choose the color orange to be highlighted in all kinds of worship. So the sadhus also wear the color orange or red. And even the what do you call that, the powder that they use to decorate their forehead and all that are orange. Again, to specify, to be specific to I think the color matching with the flowers and all, but honestly, I don't have a proper answer for your question. But orange is used in all kinds of worship that I have seen from my childhood.
Thank you.
So that's an interesting question. I will also, try to find out that why just orange.
I just did a Google and I put it in the chat box.
Yes.
It's very interesting. It says, and you can tell me this because of course you don't believe
Okay.
everything you see on Google. It
Mhm.
says that it's the orange in the Indian flag. It stands for courage and sacrifice, and Hindus believe that orange represents the sacral chakra. Is
Mhm.
that just BS or
Yes,
is that?
that's absolutely yes. That's absolutely yes. So all these colors actually signify something, that means.
Cool.
So Kenny, you wanted to ask another question. I cut you off, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was let somebody else speak, but I did want to ask Malabika. Great presentation. I know you're pretty much young in the photography. We're just wondering, where do you see your photography going at from this point on? Is it still street photography, or do you have an interest in something else?
Interesting.
Great question. I myself is confused at this moment, but what I know that I love nature photography and travel photography a lot. So nature meaning that whenever me and my husband get chance, we are out in the wild to take animals or birds or so-called macro subjects. And at the same time, we love to travel, and that and when we travel, we make sure that we are heading towards those directions which have got some good location for photographing as well. So I personally love nature, so I try to connect everything to the nature.
I saw that with your street photography, with the culture, the spiritual elements of the people, and also bringing in everything related to the culture. So that's why I was asking the question. A lot of times when we I'm sorry, a lot of times
That's
when
why in 2019, when we decided to go back to Varanasi, I had some clear conception in my mind that this time I'm just not going to go around and see the place just like that. But my intention was to capture the images of the sadhus. And I have many more, which I did not put in the slide.
I'm
So
sorry to
that
hear
was
that.
my intention.
Would have loved to have seen it. Well, thank you again for your presentation, and
Thank you.
I just want to wish you well with your photography and the direction you're going.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I want to thank you very much also. And I want to reiterate one thing you said, I think is very important, traveling throughout Asia. And you said keeping loose change in your pocket. When you're taking a picture of someone in a poor country around a famous place, that person's dressed up. That, for the most part, is their job. I mean, they get up every morning and they get dressed and they hope to make a little money. And as a photographer, we're taking something from them. We're taking their image. And it's always good to give a little change to them. It just makes sense. Plus, if you do that, it's really easy. By the way, could you move over here? Could you get a better background? And then you have a model. And it just works a whole lot better. So I mean, it's really considerate to kind of, you're taking something, give them something. A second thing you hinted at, which I think is really important in travel photography, is taking a second camera. Anything can happen to your toy camera. And you don't spend a lot of money going someplace and the first day your camera gets destroyed. I know when I travel, I have my full frame around my neck, and I keep a crop sensor on my hip with an 85 prime that I'll use for portraits too. So it's kind of having two camera bodies, I think is critical. But really, thank you. It was informative. And Varanasi, it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. But thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Wow. Okay. Malabika, thank you so much. It's been just delightful to work with you, getting ready
It
for
was all my pleasure. Thank you, Sandy. You have been so helpful to me.
It's just been delightful for me. I've learned a lot. So, all right, everybody. Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Sandy.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me and have a good night.
Yes.
Sandy, I think this should get everybody ready for
Thank you.
Fells Point street photography.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
You made it, Errol. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks, Sandy.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. All good.
Sandy,
Yes.
I went to Varanasi, I took a picture of one person, and one of my students a couple of years later went back and has a picture of the same person.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, it's good. Yeah,
So they're out on the
that's
street.
their job.
Yeah, that was nice what you said. Yeah. So, all right, everybody.
Great, take care. And I'll write you, maybe we'll do something, meet in Baltimore or something. Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Okay,
Bye-bye, everybody.
bye.
Good night, everyone.
I'm ending it. Bye.